Hi everyone and welcome to episode 86 of the Talk is Cheap show. Hope you're all well, healthy and COVID free. Thanks to everyone for tapping in. We truly appreciate your support. Now, as you can see, live and direct in the studio, we got with me the man. And in a minute, I'm going to give him his formal introduction. But hey, it is my honor and my pleasure to be able to introduce my co-host, expert analyst and good friend, the fabulous, the famous, the fantastic, the fascinating, the fearless, the feisty, the flamboyant, the flashy, the flawless. He's quite simply the foremost, as well as the most formidable presence on social media football today. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, please give a big digital round of applause for Curtis Shaw of Curtis Shaw TV in the house. What are you saying, bro?
I'm saying, bro, they get better every week. I don't know what you're going to do when you get to Z and X and them letters.
That's an interesting point, man.
Yeah.
Soon we're going to run out.
You're going to run out,
Run
man.
out of adjectives to describe this man.
Yeah, big up, bro.
Good, man. Good to see you in the place again. We're going to talk a little bit about, well, let's talk about it now. Since the last show, last weekend, our very own AFTV FC took part in the, was it the Replay Me League Challenge Cup?
Yeah.
Against Infernos FC. Great day out. Unfortunately, the result didn't quite go our way. Very good game, though. Closely contested, hard-fought, entertaining game. We came up short 2-1. You was up front. Curtis, what was your thoughts on the game, bro?
It was a good game. Obviously, no game is great if you lose it. You know, people go, oh, whatever. But I think we were the better team in terms of chances and stuff. But to be fair to Infernos, they took their chances. They won the game. Can't complain in that sense. You know, we've won trophies before and we've lost them. So, listen, it was a good game, entertaining.
It was a good game.
You know, onwards and upwards for next season.
Absolutely.
Like Arsenal, man, it's the rebuild, isn't it? Trust the process, you know?
It's the rebuild, man, yeah. I just want to say shout out to Infernos. Yeah, they're a decent team, man. I did think we were the better team on the day, but that's not to say that Infernos are not a good team. And, you know, you have to congratulate them. They got the win. We didn't. But we'll be back, man.
Yeah, man.
We're rebuilding. So watch this space for news on AFTV FC. And shout out as well to Louis and all the guys from the Replay Me League for all the hard work they put in, because that was an end of season kind of. They had the title decider, which didn't get decided, and then they had the cup game after, which we featured in. So it's a very good day out last week in North London. And yeah, man, looking forward to the next season, which starts in September, isn't it?
September, yeah.
Yeah, so shout out to Louis and all those guys from the Replay Me League. Okay, what else you been doing, bro? Tell the people what you've been up to.
Same old, man. Content's running. Obviously, Arsenal's back, you know, friendlies, and, you know, they got new kits dropping and all sorts, although I haven't bought any of them yet. But, yeah, just keeping busy with that.
Okay. Okay, so moving on, and so we know that following the America trip that got cancelled, there's been more friendlies arranged. Couple of behind the scenes friendlies. First of which was a 4-1 win against Millwall.
Yeah.
I know you watched that game. I never got a chance to watch that game, so tell the people, bro.
I thought we did well. We dominated that game as well, as you would expect against a championship
the mighty
team.
Millwall.
Mighty Millwall, but they didn't have no fans there. So, well, no, I suppose the only thing, a bit of a shame to concede again. We seem to always concede a goal. But I thought we looked like we'd improved from the Scotland trip. I actually think each game we're looking slightly better, although the opposition are no world beaters, of course, so we would be expected to beat them. But
ABBA watch?
Yeah, ABBA watch. Do you know what? I'm trying not to get drawn in, because when I'm doing watch-alongs and stuff, there's a lot of people in the comments saying, just admit it, he's finished. And I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm not getting drawn out. I'm going to give him the chance to start the season. But as we said last week, the signs are a little bit concerning with him. You know, he's missing chances. And Lacazette looks far better at the moment. Even Eddie Nketiah, you know.
We're going to talk about Eddie, but okay. So the 4-1 win, you're happy with the performance.
Yeah, I thought we played well.
There's some encouraging signs there, more positives than negatives, which is good. The second game I did watch. That was another behind the scenes game this time against Watford. Newly promoted Watford, although I understand that a lot of their what would be their first teamers
Yeah.
were not playing, including one of your guys that you've, Andre.
Yeah,
Gray.
well, obviously Andre was with Jamaica at the Gold Cup.
Okay.
So he wasn't able to play, but they played Stevenage the day before.
Okay.
So Dini and those guys didn't play. So it was a team we were expected to beat.
Yeah. Okay, then, so the Watford game, 4-1 win. I made a list of some positives to take out of the game. Eddie Nketiah, he looked sharp, man.
He did.
Took a very good goal in that game as well.
It was an Aubameyang type of goal, wasn't it? Off that left-hand side, bent into the far corner.
Yeah. So that was good. I mean, you know what? I'm happy for Eddie, man, because let's face it, man, he's been the butt of a lot of jokes. And he's taken a bit of stick over the past year, man. But he looks like he's got his game face on, man. You know what I mean? And I like the fact that when he scored the goals, he's not over celebrating.
Not getting all that this time.
I mean, it would be ridiculous if he did do that. But even so, he's not over celebrating. He looks like he's got his game face on, and I like his attitude in these friendlies. He really looks like he's sort of trying to make a statement.
Focused.
Yeah, and I do like that, man. Sambi Lokongo in the midfield.
Look good. I mean, I've seen some people saying he's the new Vieira. Just calm down a little bit, just a little bit. You know what I mean?
Calm down by far.
Yeah, a lot. But no, he looks good. I always say when you sign players like that, you're hoping to be surprised because expectation's not that high because he's fairly unknown, but you're hoping that somebody can just really take to it and surprise a few people. So I still think we need a few more, but he looks good. He looks confident on the ball. He's energetic, looks strong. So
go for it. Go for it. Thomas Partey, man, in these friendlies so far, he's impressed, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He looks like, which is a good sign because I remember he came to the club last year in a bit of a blaze of glory, it has to be said. Didn't quite live up to that, but then.
I remember the old dance over at the Emirates.
Yeah. Party hard. Yeah. But to get back to what I was saying, so he had. At spells last time, a difficult time, didn't he?
Yeah.
Where people say he wasn't quite up to the run of play. But he's another one, man. He looks like he's got his game face on. He's performed well in the friendlies, and you're looking at him, you're thinking, I'm looking forward to seeing him when the season starts.
You know what? I don't like to make too many predictions, but I think he's going to have a big season. He's looking. I'm telling you, he's looking like he's in beast mode, man.
He does, isn't it?
He's had that full pre-season. You know what I mean? He looks like he's settled now. Because we bought him on the last day of the transfer window. So you come to a new country in a pandemic. You've had no pre-season. He had a lot of injury problems last year.
That's right.
This year, he looks like he's been.
If we can get him playing well, man, that would be a massive plus for us.
Yeah, as Wenger would say, like a new signing.
Yeah, well, you know what? Given some of our problems that we've had in midfield, why not? You know. And the other positive I could take from the games I've seen so far, pretty much all of the ones that I've seen anyway, has been that we are creating chances.
Yeah,
we do look pretty good going forward, which is, gives me some encouragement.
Because
What's your thoughts on
last
that?
season we were saying, we're not creating anything.
Yeah,
I think Smith Rowe, I can see an extra confidence in him. I think getting that number 10, the new contract. I think Pepe's looking sharp as well. He looks like he's ready to go and have a big season, hopefully as well. Tierney's back and fit. His deliveries from out wide. Listen, I'm quietly optimistic about the season in terms of scoring more goals. So I think last season that's what really held us back. Didn't score enough. So we are. And
it's good to see some of the younger players going through. I mean, Miguel Aguirre is getting some plaudits.
Because he's. I think because I don't think they took him to Scotland on tour.
No,
I didn't see him play, so he came on, scored a lovely goal with his left foot. So I hope he gets a chance.
What I liked about him is that he looks confident on the ball, man.
Does.
He doesn't look inhibited in any way. He looks like a confident individual, which I like that.
Yeah, and I would rather see him in midfield than somebody we're going to talk about shortly. I've led you on nicely.
I wonder who that is, but I'm sure we're going to touch on that. But the negatives, or some areas of. I don't want to say negatives because I don't want to sound negative, but areas of slight concern.
Yeah.
Or maybe just a bit more than slight concern. Defending, again, especially from set pieces.
Yeah.
We do look a bit vulnerable at times. It's something we've got to work on.
We don't seem to attack that first ball. It's like there's a little tentative header, it'll fall to someone.
Yeah.
Even in that game yesterday, I mean, there was one where the Watford guy hit it. I think it was going in, it hit his own player.
Yeah, I saw that.
That could have been 2 goals again. So
we've
got to get stronger in defensive set pieces.
Yeah, okay. And Auba watch was still...
I mean, do you know what? I thought
he was trying
to do the right things, though. I know people will say, "Oh, but his movement was good," but it's just not quite. He needs a.
He just needs a goal.
He just needs something to fall to. I always say, though, as a striker, if you score in every pre-season game and you start the season, you don't score in the Prem, no one's going to remember that. No. And equally, if you don't score in any of them, and we go to Brentford and he scores, no one's going to care. But I just hope he hits the ground running once the season starts.
Yeah. And of course, we've got to talk about it. We've got to talk about it. He took a little bit of stick from the fans online, man.
More than a little bit.
But he didn't look good in the game, and he was at fault for Watford's goal. And it has to be said, man. It is only pre-season, but you look at that, and then some of the stuff. Although, to be fair, he did have a decent season last season. And we're talking Mohamed El Neni, formerly known as El Messi. Now he's gone back to El Neni. Remember, he went from El Neni to El Messi. Now he's gone back to El Neni.
Real quick.
But yeah, man, I mean, I'm looking at him, and him and Auba are the 2 guys that I'm looking at thinking, you know what? I know it's only pre-season, man, but there's some concerns there.
I mean, at least with Aubameyang, we know that, you know, he can go to that level if he needs to. With El Neni, it's like, well...
Is this his level?
I'm wondering, in all this transfer speculation, how his name hasn't been mentioned at all. It's like, no, he's staying. I'm hearing that he's favourite to start against Brentford next to Thomas Partey, and I'm like... There's certain mistakes in football that you can accept. You know, maybe you had a bad touch, you missed a pass, this, that, the other. But that is like a comical error. It's a schoolboy. You're in your own penalty area. You're turning towards your own goal, and you've been dispossessed. They miss the first chance, and then the next guy scores. I'm like, come on, you can't.
For those of you who haven't seen it yet, man, it's pretty poor. I have to say.
It's poor, isn't it, man? It's really bad. And do you know what? Sometimes, and I said this, certain players that you think, okay, the club need to move them on, they can just quietly have a nice pre-season and all of a sudden, new contract, they're in the team. So sometimes I think they have to expose themselves that, listen, I'm here, but I'm not good enough to be here. Maybe you need to, you know, because...
I'm going to keep it 100. You would have a bit of trouble moving him out, just simply because of the lack of takers. No,
I know what you mean.
You know what I'm saying? I'm just trying to... I'm keeping it real, man. If Mohamed El Neni, and no disrespect to the guy, this is nothing personal, I'm just keeping it 100. If he was to get put up for sale tomorrow, I have to say there is not going to be an avalanche.
The queue ain't going to be that big.
It's not going to be going through the door.
No.
And some of the offers that you do get are probably El Neni's not going to want to take them anyway.
I think that's why they probably keep him around as a squad player, that you ain't going to get much for him, but... To me,
although I would say this, listen, right? You can't question the guy's attitude.
No, he's got a great
and his
attitude
commitment to
work
the,
rate.
you know what I mean? So I will give him that. It's just that, unfortunately, he is prone to errors like what happened the other day, and some of his basic passing and stuff like that is just not up to scratch at times. But
we'll have to see.
We'll have to see. But yeah, I don't want to dwell on that too much. But there is another upcoming game, a friendly.
Yeah.
And this one's decidedly more difficult, be against Chelsea. Obviously, we don't know what type of teams the respective sides are going to play. I mean, I would imagine Arsenal will adopt a similar approach to what they've done to the previous two friendlies, which is to try and give pretty much everybody a run out. So what are you looking for in that game against Chelsea?
I mean, this will be interesting because obviously this is a whole nother level to what we've been playing again. I know Chelsea have still got quite a few out because of the Euros and a lot of them aren't back yet. But, I mean, look, pre-season is not... The results aren't overly important, but you still want to win games and have that confidence going into the first game. It is a London derby. It's the first game back at the Emirates with the fans
Yeah,
back. I know we had a couple of thousand at times last season, but
What are they saying the attendance will be for this
it's
one?
close to full capacity. I think there's
Wow.
only a small, a few seats that are not taken. So for anyone who's going, I'm sure they'll be delighted to be back. And I was saying earlier, I do think some players will thrive off the fans being back. I know when I played, I always loved having fans there. Obviously, 60,000 in the Emirates makes a big difference. So
Well, it should do.
well, it should. It depends what game it is. Sometimes it's not that much of a difference. But no, I think it'll be a good game. It'll be a test. It'll be a test.
So what will you be looking for?
I mean, I'd love to see Aubameyang score.
Yeah.
I think we're all looking for Aubameyang to get that goal, man. But if he doesn't, it's not the end of the world. But I mean, I'd like Arsenal to win the game.
Yeah.
As every Arsenal fan would. I know it's not overly important, but just to say, we beat Chelsea twice last year.
Yeah.
And the interesting thing about this, we play them second game of the season.
Yeah.
So the dynamics of the game are interesting. You don't really want to show them how you want to play, but at the same time...
But then at the same time, you do want to show them that, hey, they want to be coming away from this game, Chelsea, thinking, you know what, Arsenal mean business this season.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You don't want to be going into that game, getting beaten and players not performing well.
Yeah.
And Chelsea will be looking at you and thinking, they're not going to be all that.
Yeah.
You want the opposite. You want Chelsea to come to town and say, oh, you know what, Arsenal mean business this season, man. They've got some decent guys. They're on point. So, yeah. Yeah, man, I'm looking forward to watching that game. I won't be able to attend the game in person because I have another commitment on that day, but I will be catching up with the game. And we will be doing a watch along for it. So, yeah, man, well, interesting to see what happens. Okay, moving on then. So let's take a look at the latest with regards to Arsenal's transfer activity, or as I like to say, or lack thereof.
That might have to be the merch, I tell you.
But listen, mate, the season's fast approaching. A couple of weeks ago now, man, it's hotting up. And, all the fans want to know what's happening transfer-wise. So let's give them a little update and see what's going on as of when we recorded this show. Right, first up, Arsenal said to be very interested in 23-year-old Inter Milan striker and Argentinian international Lautaro Martinez. I hope I'm not butchering that name.
I think you've got that right.
Okay. Now, people are saying that the reason why Arsenal are expressing an interest in this guy is A, because he's a very good player, comes recommended by no less than a certain Lionel Messi who's been singing his praises recently, but also because there's strong rumours that Alexander Lacazette could leave. So the suggestion is if the Lacazette leaves or is allowed to go, then obviously we need a replacement. We spoke last week about Tammy. I know you wasn't blown away by that.
No.
But I suspect that you'll be a bit more impressed with Lautaro Martinez, who seems to be a very good player, got a very good all-round game, had a very good Copa America by all accounts, and is highly thought of. Now, Curtis, your thoughts? Is it realistic? Deal or no deal?
I think, when I was younger, I had a lot of interest in Christina Milian. I liked her. You know what I mean? I like Beyonce. I cannot be interested.
I think I know where this is going.
But I don't mean it's going to come to fruition, does it? So, I mean, no, listen, it's not impossible, but I just don't see it. If we could make it happen, I'd be all over it. I think he's a really good player. He's got that terrier-like attitude, that South American bite.
Carlos Tevez.
Yeah, that Tevez thing. I think the only way it could ever happen is because Inter Milan are in a lot of financial difficulty. They sold Hakimi, their managers left in Conte. There were a few rumours that maybe they would let either Martinez or Lukaku go. Lukaku had said, I'm staying, I'm happy.
Yeah, he loves
so a few
it,
people
Lukaku.
are saying maybe. Number one, I don't see how we could pay the transfer fee because they would want a lot of that up front.
70 million.
So, I mean, I know we've paid that for Pepe before, but we know it's some,
Yeah, that was like
that was a nice
1 million, 1
deal.
million a month. Layaway
business, So
Layaway
I don't
deal.
know how. And then you look at it, let's be honest, Lautaro Martinez is in the Champions League. He's just won the Italian league. Why would he want out of Inter and why would he want to come to a team that's not in Europe? I think if we were in Europe, maybe he would consider it. Listen, if there's any chance of that happening, I would love to see the club go for it, but I think it's I wouldn't get your hopes up too much. But, we can hope.
I think, But I like the analogy you made with Christine and Milian.
Yeah,
It's all very well showing an interest or saying, I like this and that, but getting the date is another completely different matter. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Martin Odergaard, we know Martin Odergaard. He was on loan from Real Madrid, and he did quite well. What was your thoughts?
I think he's a good player.
He's a good player.
Yeah,
I think most of the fan base did like what he put out.
Yeah,
and I think that a lot of them would take him back, including myself, because the rumour is that given the financial constraints of Real Madrid, who would have thought we would ever been saying that?
Madrid,
financial constraints of Real Madrid just shows how crazy the last year and a half has been in relation to COVID. But there's talk that a deal could be back on, and that's quite serious, man. This ain't no joke to you. I'm hearing that it could very well be on. Deal or no deal, bro?
No, I could see it happening. Listen, I would be in favour of it.
Yeah, I'd do it.
I think he's a good player.
He's a talent.
He's in his early 20s. He's left-footed. He came in. It's not easy to come into a club halfway through a season, and we were a bit of a mess when he joined.
Yeah, absolutely.
We improved towards the end of the season. I think he's a good player. I think the fans would be happy with that. He knows the club, knows the players and the manager.
That's right.
It looks like Madrid is not going as he planned. I saw rumours saying that Ancelotti said, he'll be a backup player, he won't be in the team. I think for him it makes sense for him to go. Yeah. Naturally, he's going to want to try and make it at Real Madrid because it's the top level, but...
he wants to be playing football because he's a Norwegian international. You've got the World Cup coming up. He's going to be thinking in his mind, listen, man, I want to be in this, playing football. Yeah. He seemed to enjoy his time in the Premier League. Yeah. He did some good things. The fans like him. Makes sense, man.
Yeah, I can see it.
He would be up to speed with the pace of the Premier League. Yeah. Having done it already. So I think we might even see a better Odegaard second time around.
Yeah, you would like to think so because he'd be more settled. I think the one thing I would say with Odegaard, he needs to add a few more goals, I would say, to his game.
Yes, I
in
would say
that attacking midfield role. But I think I could see Arsenal probably getting this one done.
Okay. Well, you mentioned there about attacking midfielders and scoring goals. That segues very nicely onto our next proposed transfer target, James Madison, currently of Leicester. Rumours that Leicester will be prepared to sell if their asking price is met. Again, it's quite a heavy fee they're looking at. Said to be about between 60 and 70 million, which I'm not so sure if Arsenal will play, but. I think we've spoken about this before, but the reason why I'm mentioning it again is because apparently it's very much back on. Yeah. James Madison, deal or no deal? Would you take him?
Now, listen, for me, despite everything I just said about Martin Odegaard, if we can get James Madison, for me, I'm skipping the Odegaard deal.
Wow.
I'm going for Madison.
You heard it here first, man.
I know he would probably cost maybe, 20 million more than Odegaard, but I just think, for me, what we need in that number 10 role, I think Madison has got. He hits the back of the net. Yeah, come on, man.
He's asserting himself, man.
You got to look at Arsenal's midfielders scored 6 goals between them last season, between all of them. And Madison got 8, and he was injured a lot of the time.
Mind you, Joe Willock got 8. The only trouble is he got those for Newcastle
shirt. Yeah, it's typical Arsenal. Yeah, but no, for me, Madison, he knows the Premier League. They're saying that he would be willing to go to Arsenal. I just think I would love Arsenal to sign Madison. I'm not sure whether they will pay that amount of money. But as much as I rate Odegaard, I would go for Madison ahead of him.
And I don't think Leicester are going to take $1 million per week, are they?
No, they're not.
No. But I would agree, man. I mean, I've got this sort of vision in my head of guys like Pepe and Saka and Aubameyang and people like that, making runs and then getting chopped down and getting fouled. And then Madison stepping up over the free kick and putting it in the top corner.
You've already pictured it.
Yeah, I've already seen. Yeah, I've visualised that, man. Yeah. You know what I mean? So, and like you said, man, a proven goal-scoring midfielder, man, is worth his weight in gold, really. So I would take Madison without a doubt.
All day long.
But I've got doubts as to whether Arsenal will stump up the cash. Yeah. Especially as they're committed with a player we're going to talk about later. It's costing quite a bit of money as well. So as much as I'd like to see it, if you was to put me on the spot and say deal or no deal, I'd probably say no deal. Not because I don't want to see the player come to the club. But yeah, man, let's see what happens there. Let's hope it can end up positive. Now, we mentioned him a couple of seconds ago as a a midfielder that does score goals. And like we said, the problem for him has been is that he scored them whilst he wasn't playing for Arsenal. But Joe Willock, noticeably he didn't play in the friendly against Watford, not at all. That was a little bit, some might say a little bit indicative. But we know that there's been interest from Newcastle. That's standard, we know about that. But apparently there's also been interest from Crystal Palace.
Okay, Vieira.
Certain Patrick Vieira, sniffing around. But also, and this could be a little even more credible, is that there's interest now also from Monaco in France via a loan deal. So some people are suggesting that a loan deal might suit Arsenal. He goes to Monaco in France. And we would still retain his registration. What's your thoughts on that, Ro?
I mean, Monaco, I think, would be a good move for him. Fabregas is there as well, so he could play in midfield with a former Arsenal legend. But I get the impression Joe Willock is going.
Did he play against Watford? Millwall.
I don't think he did. No, I don't think he did.
Right.
So
he didn't play against Millwall. He didn't play against Watford.
I think he only played
Unlikely to play against Chelsea.
I think he's on his way out.
That would seem to
that
suggest,
it would suggest that he's in talks with other clubs. It's interesting that he did so well at Newcastle, but no one's willing to put money down. It's just loan. You know, it's like when we buy a player, the price is sky high. When we're selling them, we can't get nothing for them. You know,
I think, though, to be fair, though, that might have a lot to do with the financial insecurities around what's happening with COVID and all that.
Yeah,
It's obviously a different marketplace nowadays. But okay, man. We pretty sure that Granit Xhaka is going to depart at some point. It's impending, isn't it?
Yeah.
So there were rumours that Arsenal are going to make a move for Ruben Neves, although I'm hearing now that Manchester United have also entered the race for his services, and some people are saying he's favoured to go there. I guess if you're Neves, why wouldn't you? But what's your thoughts on that? I know you weren't particularly keen on Neves.
Do you know what?
You kind of think that he's done his best work at Wolves.
Do you know what? I think he's a good player. And I think on the ball he is better than Granit Xhaka, but I don't think to spend £40 million on him, I just see other players out there that to me I think would be better options. I'd still love us to go for Basuma. I like Auba. They're talking about 25 million. So for me, Neves, he is a good player, and you can see that Arteta wants a ball player next to Thomas Partey. He wants someone who can dictate possession.
Well, we got El Neni, haven't we?
Well, I said keep the ball, you know. not give the ball away.
Not give the ball away, not give away goals.
Yeah, exactly. So, Neves a good player, but I'm not sure. He wouldn't be at the top of my list.
Would you take him over El Neni?
I'd take you over El Neni, you know what I mean? I think you hold on to the ball longer than El Neni.
I'm not so sure about that, but yeah. Okay, we'll see what happens with that. But like I said, Man United have appeared to express an interest in signing a player. And I must admit, if it comes down to a straight contest between Arsenal and Man United, I think it's likely that he's going to go Man United. So, okay. Cedric, Arsenal right back, apparently currently interested in Fenerbahce. Although I'm also hearing that Cedric has said that he wants to stay at Arsenal. Yeah. And especially with Bellerin looking to leave, I'm not so sure if that's going to happen. But what's your thoughts? Deal or no deal?
Yeah, I don't think it will happen. I don't. Like you said, I think they're trying to shift Bellerin. He's a high earner. There's talk that he wants to go. Inter Milan are interested.
Yeah.
It wouldn't make sense. I think for Cedric, he's got a chance to actually get in the team if he can put some form together. So I don't see that deal happening.
Yeah,
I think Fenerbahce might want him, but I don't see it happening.
Yeah, I would say no deal on that one. And finally, for this particular segment of the show, Ben White. Ben White. Now, there's been a lot said about Ben White, and we're now hearing that this deal is not just imminent, it's seriously imminent. So this whole Ben White conversation segues nicely into what I wanted to talk about predominantly on today's show. And that is, could the signing of Ben White be one of the most significant signings for Arsenal in recent years? Which is a kind of contradiction of sorts, because a couple of weeks ago, There was a few people, I think maybe, was yourself included? Maybe not. But you were saying that, you know what I mean, you didn't really want Ben White.
No, it wasn't so much that I didn't want him.
Or that maybe it wasn't a priority.
The thing is, I think we do need a ball-playing centre-back.
Yeah.
Because Arteta wants to play like that. So I do think Ben White is a significant upgrade on Holding. But I just felt like there were other priorities we should have got done first. But the reality is this. If we need 4 positions, if we get those 4 done, it doesn't matter what order you do them in. It's just when you see Arsenal spend 50 million on a centre-back and you know you need a centre-mid, a right-back, an attacking mid, you worry because you think, well, even though I'm happy you've signed Ben White, you think, well, are they going to spend another 40 on a centre-mid, 30 on a right-back? And, you know, it makes you think they're not going to spend in other positions.
So you're basically saying if you have a limited budget, you would have liked to have seen that budget earmarked for what you consider to be the priorities, which is in the midfield.
Midfield for me was a bigger priority than centre back.
And I guess you were one of those as well that was disappointed in that whole Wendy situation.
Yeah, I thought that was poor. I think we should have. We've been watching him for a year. We should have got that deal wrapped up, you know. But it is what it is. Like I say, it's always how you finish the window. If we finish the window and we're sitting
it's a
here,
bit like you're staring at that girl from across the dance floor. And you think, Christine Emilion, man. And you're looking, you think, yeah, man, I just need to go over there and ask her if she was. And you wait so long until some other guy just comes. And next thing you know, you see, you know what I mean, they've got their phones out and they're swapping numbers. And you think, oh, shit, man. I mean, I missed that.
I'll make you move.
I hope that doesn't sound too corny. But so that's what you're saying, right?
Yeah. So I think, do you know what? Listen, with Ben White, I think he's a good signing. I think he's got qualities that Arsenal lack. I think most people will agree the price is inflated, probably due to the fact he's English, he's in the Premier League. And he is under a lot of pressure because the fans will expect a lot of him. Naturally, because Man United are buying Varane for a similar price, you're going to have those comparisons.
I've already had a few United fans on
they'll be throwing that
Flicks
out,
as
you know what I mean? So, well, listen, welcome to Arsenal, Ben White. I hope he does the business for us. You know?
So listen, so now it looks like the deal's going to happen, let's be honest. It is going to happen. I thought what we would do is look at some of his attributes and have a little conversation around the player, see where he's going to fit in. And like I said, I was thinking about this the other day, and I'm thinking to myself that given the amount of money that we spent on him, given where we are at the club right now, you know, European football, we're trying to all intents and purposes, rebuild. You like that? Come again.
That pops up every show, isn't it?
I didn't come with that last week, you know.
Oh, you had a week off.
But it's come back again. But so to all intents and purposes, it would appear that the club are on a rebuild mission. And I'm looking at this signing and I'm thinking, it's kind of come a little bit from left field. But then having said that, and to give credit to Arteta and Edu and all them guys, I'm thinking, you know what? Given some of the frailties we've expressed in pre-season with regards to defending and stuff like that, this could be one of the most important signings since Aubameyang. I know we signed Pepe after that, and you know people will argue as to whether that's worked or not worked or whether it will work. But you know what I mean? Since Aubameyang and then obviously with the Pepe, but this is a major signing for Arsenal.
Yeah, it is.
So I thought I'd do a little bit of a deep dive on Ben White. And I'd also spoken to a couple of fans who support Leeds and had watched him there. He was on loan at Newport and Leeds where he did very well, and obviously he was at Brighton. I didn't know any Brighton fans I could contact, but there's a couple of Leeds fans I know. And I also did my research, and so I managed to make a little list of these attributes. So let's have a look. Who is Ben White? Right, 23 years old, so still young by modern football standards. Said to be a progressive, ball-playing, modern, sort of forward-thinking, right-sided centre-back, Agree with that so far? Yeah.
It's a good start.
Said to be very versatile. So he can play on the right side of the defence, but also, he's also played, apparently, in the right side of midfield and did well. And also played at right-back. So, sounds good,
Yeah, it's not bad.
Yeah, so far we're doing all right. 6 foot, 6'2", depending on
you check.
yeah. But yeah, so he's got a nice height, quick, athletic. Yeah. Apparently he reads the game well. Makes good interceptions, makes good decision making. Likes to get forward and join the attack. Good passing range, apparently. A bit like El Nani. Good dribbler with the ball. Apparently stats in terms of dribbles is pretty good. Good tackler. Good on 50-50 duels, apparently. Most of the time comes out on top. And like I said, he kind of suits the way Arteta would want to play, you know, with the pressing and stuff like that. And his athleticism, I'm sure, will come into play there. And I was looking at some of the honours that he's attained so far in his career. Player of the Year for Newport County in 2017-18. Young Player of the Year for Leeds in 2019-2020. And I never noticed this before, but he was actually Brighton's Player of the Season last year.
I only saw that.
Because, like I said on a previous show, when you think about Brighton previously, we thought of Basuma, haven't we? We thought of Lewis Dunk and people like that. But apparently he was their Player of the Season. And of course, he was part of the Euro squad for England. He didn't get any game time, but then, you know, let's be honest, England's defence was outstanding. So unless it was an injury, he wasn't really going to get any game. But the fact that he got taken to the Euros is a big plus. And I've heard quite a few of the so-called football experts waxing lyrical about him. Some of them even suggesting that Ben White is too good for Arsenal.
Yeah, exactly. We won't mention that.
We won't mention that guy's name. But that's been said. But listen, pretty much all the guys that I've heard who are established football pundits and who appear regularly on TV and radio, I don't think I've heard one detractor here.
No.
A lot of them are bigging this guy up. Some of them seriously bigging him up. And we also know that there are other clubs that were sniffing around, most notably Chelsea and Man United. So listen, man, I've made a list of the attributes. Now it's over to you. What's your thoughts? Could this guy be what I was hinting at earlier, which is, you know, given his attributes and given where we are as a club right now, we're looking for someone to spearhead the future. Could Ben White be that guy that in a couple of years' time we'll be saying, you know what, the turning point of Arsenal
was Ben White.
Was when we signed Ben White. Do you think he's got that in it?
Well, you hope so, because, I mean, it's our most expensive defender that we've ever bought. I think it's the third most expensive player we've ever bought. So, like you were saying earlier, I do like the fact that Arteta and Edu earmarked him and went for him, because some of the signings have just, they've seemed lazy at times. It felt like Edu has just said, Kia Jarachin, who you've got, I got a Willian, you know, I'll sign him. There's no real thought into that. At least with Ben White, he's young. Like you said, it came from nowhere. No one finished last season and thought, Arsenal are going to get Ben White. I didn't see that one coming.
No, you know, I don't know of anybody that was
talking about it. It's come out of nowhere. I'm hoping that he's a leader, because I think there's a space at Arsenal to become the captain. I know a lot of people are talking about Kieran Tierney, and I'm not disrespecting Aubameyang in that sense, because he's still the captain, but he's in his 30s. We need a younger future captain. So I'm hoping that he's got that leadership. Like you said, he's got the attributes. It's just, can you perform on a regular basis? He's never played under this much pressure. Playing for Brighton is not the same as playing for Arsenal. I think, like you said as well, he was picked in the England squad ahead of Godfrey from Everton, who is a good defender.
And Holgate.
And they... And
again, he kind of come from left field again. No one saw that
he was
coming.
Coming to the Euros. So, and then I heard an interview with Foden and Saka where they were asked what player has surprised them the most, and both of them said Ben White, which I couldn't believe. They were Foden. I remember Foden was saying, I haven't really seen too much of him, but he said he's such a good player, so good on the ball. So everything's there for him. It's just whether he can perform, and Arsenal's defence, you know, around him. So listen,
I'll tell you a little anecdote actually on that.
Go on.
The other day I was going out to get something to eat where we are in North London, where our studio is, and I was walking down the road, and some guy come round up to me and goes, hey, He goes, you work for AFTV, right? I said, yeah. He goes, I'll tell you what, mate. If you sign Ben White, that would be one of the best signings you could make. I was like, yeah? He goes, yeah, I'm a Leeds fan. And he goes, we were really saddened when he left. He goes, he was outstanding. He goes, we had Rio, or we had Jonathan Woodgate. He goes, I'll tell you now, he's up there with them. I said, really?
Wow.
And I thought, you know what? Yeah, and I mean, listen, time will tell.
Yeah.
But there was a lot of sincerity in what the guy was telling me. In what I'm saying by that is, he genuinely believed it. I could see he wasn't gassing me up. He said, listen, man, we've had Rio, we've had Woodgate.
This is the
I will
next
put
one.
Ben White alongside those guys. I'm not saying he's better than them, but he goes, he's up there. Well, I thought, wow. And don't forget, he would have been very young when he went there as well.
Yeah, so he should be better now.
So, yeah, I think there's a lot to be excited about, man.
Well,
And
let's hope so.
yeah. One thing I was going to say, so presumably he comes in and he's going to go on the right side of the defence, yeah? Even though we know he can play in midfield, or we know he can play right back. But I would imagine he's going to be right side centre back. Who would you like to see him play alongside?
I'd like to see him with Gabriel.
Right.
On
Yeah,
the
I would
left.
say that too.
I think at the moment, because Gabriel's got this tendonitis in his knee, so he's probably
There's also
going to
a
miss.
tendency to get rash.
Tendency to dive in as well and start clamping people.
Yeah, so
I think it will be Pablo Marie at the start of the season on the left, and then.
And that makes
Ben
sense
White.
as well. Sorry to interject,
That's
because Mary's not the quickest.
No.
And I've heard that Ben White's pretty quick.
Yeah, so
So
that could work.
that could balance things up there.
So yeah, listen, I just hope because sometimes it's always the name brand, isn't it? So everyone's going to be going Varane, and I get that. But we're hoping he just comes in under the radar, Ben White. He's 23, he's got time on his side. Do you know what I mean? And surprises people. I think it will be a good signing for Arsenal.
Yeah.
One thing I will say, if you've got a good defence and your midfield is wide open, you expose that defence, which is why I think it's so important we get that midfielder next to Partey. That's no disrespect to Lokonga, I think he's a good player, but I still think we need someone on that next level to protect that back four a little bit more.
Yeah.
So I think they still need to get a midfielder.
Yeah, they still need to get a midfielder in. The only thing is time's running out a bit now, isn't it?
I mean, in terms of the window closing, we've still got a month, but it would have been nice to get them in
Someone
before
in
the
for-
season
yeah,
starts.
yeah,
you know.
yeah.
We've got a tough start as well.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to be doing a show next week looking at that, on what we think your predictions are for the season ahead. But I mean, just saying it out loud now, it's going to be difficult.
It's going to be difficult.
It's going to be a very challenging season. I can see that
At
now.
the moment, you would say we're not ready for top four. I think we need top. All right, top six then.
But then you never know,
You
man.
never know.
You just never know, do you?
It
I
doesn't.
mean,
Football ain't one on
the
paper,
surprises,
is it?
exactly. I mean, look
it's-
at West Ham last year. Who would have thought that they would have performed so well there?
Yeah,
You know
I
what I
think
mean?
we just need a few more signings. We
Yeah.
need to sell. We got a lot of players we need to get rid of
Yeah.
as well, man.
It's interesting. I was watching the friendly the other day against Watford, and when you saw the subs coming, I saw Kolasinac. I thought, wow, them man's still at the
Couldn't
club.
believe it. You know, Kolasinac is coming on, and Willian's on, and you know.
Well, no, to be fair to Willian, he's had a couple of good, half-decent games in these friendlies.
He's been all right. He has been all right. I wouldn't get carried away, but yeah, he's been all right. But yeah, when you're seeing Kolasinac and El Neni, and you're like, yo, come on, we gotta make move. I'm here, and apparently Torreira and Xhaka are meant to be back in training next week. So whether they come back or whether they sell those two, will be
Torreira's
interesting.
been forgotten about almost, isn't he?
He's wanted out for a long time, hasn't he? I think he
yeah,
wants to go back to South America.
I think I read something where he said that his mental health had been affected by him not getting any game time, and obviously he's from Uruguay and he struggled with the culture here, and you know that's kind of understandable.
Of course,
and
yeah,
especially if you're not in the team, then he's going to kind of
Makes
withdraw
things
into
more
yourself. Exactly. So I do feel for him in that regard. But then again, the manager's not going to play you just because.
He feels sorry for you. Yeah.
You've got to earn your way in, and unfortunately for him, he wasn't able to do that. But yeah, so to go back to Ben White, man, listen, I am optimistic. Like I said, I've done my research. I've spoken to a few people that seen him play. I've spoken to a couple of Leeds fans as well. And it would appear, man, that this guy is the real deal.
Yeah, let's hope so.
And like I said, if it works, we could be looking back in a few years' time and saying that he was the catalyst for change. You know what I mean? And that's what we need at Arsenal, man. Because let's be honest, man. Last season was disappointing.
Oh, more than
to put it mildly.
Yeah, it was a shocker.
So here it is, but he don't mince his words.
No, it was a bad one.
It wasn't good.
The club have got to fight back.
But as a fan base, we've got to be optimistic. And you know, let's face it, man. There hasn't been a whole lot to write home about in terms of the transfers. Yes, we brought some guys in, and I have to say Tavares looked good the other day. Sambi Congo looks good as well. But we kind of need a marquee signing. Yeah. And a lot of people suggesting that Ben White could be the marquee signing of the season. So listen, guys out there watching the show, let us know what you think, man. Have you seen Ben White play? If you have, what do you think of him? Do you think he could be something special at the club? Do you think in a few years' time, as me and Curtis were suggesting, that we may look back on this signing and say, look, this was the catalyst for change? Let us know what you think, man. Yeah? Is there anything else you want to add on that, bro?
No. I think, like I said, I think it's a good signing, but we've got to give him the right structure to play in. You know, if they do that, then, you know,
onwards and upwards. Onwards and upwards. Okay. Well, bro, we are now entering into that last phase of the show. We're coming to the end. I've really enjoyed the show. Really enjoyed having you on. Your honest and forthright opinions as usual. Tell the people where they can find you, bro, as always.
Curtis Shaw TV, approaching 30k. Come over and have a look. I know a lot of you comment on the shows and that, so I appreciate the support.
Respect, bro.
Yes, bro.
And to all the yous out there, man, thanks for tapping in. We truly appreciate your support. Like, share, subscribe, man. You know what I mean? We want to get those numbers up. We want the show to be interactive, all that stuff. So keep supporting us, man. We'll have another great show for you lined up next week, in which we'll be looking at Arsenal for the new season, how you think they'll do. And yeah, can't wait, man. Respect. We're out.